Today on Pots and Trowels we're giving the tomato plants a little TLC, and it's brought to you with the support of Cobra Garden and Allett. Hello, welcome to Pots and Trowels, and you find me in my temporary lean-to greenhouse. As you remember, we moved back in March. We still haven't bought a house yet and a new garden, so this is where I'm growing everything this season, including tomatoes. I love homegrown tomatoes. It's something I've grown since I was a teenager, and the flavour of those fully ripened tomatoes warmed by the sun is far better than anything you'll ever buy in a shop. So even if you've got room for just a couple of plants, they are well worth growing. So here I've got them in this greenhouse. I've got different varieties. One of my favourites is this one. This one is Tigerella, has a stripy fruit on there, and it ripens to a lovely orangey red colour. And then this one is a really good one. This is a Fothergill's one. This one is called Red Bodyguard, really fleshy when you cut into it, and again ripens to a deep rich colour, so looking forward to those. And then we've got some cherry tomatoes around here. These have all been grown from seed. The seed was sown late February, early March, and they've been grown in this cold greenhouse once they were planted out. So here we are now, coming towards the end of July, and it's going to be another week or two, and then these will start to ripen, and they'll carry on right the way through till the first frosts in October. So we'll get 3 months of delicious fruits. So what we need to do at this time of the year is just give them a little bit of TLC to make sure that they're all happy. First thing is we need to make sure we water and feed on a regular basis. Never ever let the fruits dry out or the plants dry out. And down here I've got my watering system. This is a very simple one. This is a 4-pot self-watering system. So these 4 pots sit on a trough that has got a dilute liquid feed in there, so it's constantly feeding them little and often. I think I can just very carefully lift that, you'll probably see there is a wick that goes down from the bottom of the pot down into the water solution, so that sucks the water up. I do occasionally give them a little bit of an extra feed in the top, but on the whole that will water them, so great if you're going to be away for a few days. I've tied them to the canes as they've grown up, and one of the things that we need to do with these is side shoots. I'm going to look out for a side shoot and see if I can find them. Good green foliage, that's healthy, but you might notice on this first plant here the leaves have started to curl like this, and don't worry if that happens. I mean, on these plants here, these are perfectly okay, but it's done it on this first Tigerella, and the reason for that is this one is right in the corner where it gets the side light as well, so it's the plant's natural way of protecting itself. It just curls its leaves in like that. It's caused by the heat that we had the last couple of weeks, so these are perfectly okay, nothing to worry about. But what I do at this time of the year, they can get a bit congested and we need a good airflow. So what I'm going to do is just take off 1 or 2 of the lower leaves. Now normally you would wait until they start to discolour, but I'm going to just take the very bottom leaves off, and to do that it's very simple. All we do is get the leaf and you just lift it up, use your finger or your thumb, lift it up, you'll feel a snap and off it comes. Don't cut them off, just up like that, so they snap away by clicking them up. Sometimes you just have to take them down again just to snap the bigger ones off. So I'm not taking all the foliage off, I'm just going to take the bottom 2 or 3 off, so that these lower trusses get a little bit more air flowing round them, and then they'll start to ripen. You can see this one here, this Tigerella, is just starting to ripen, so within the next few weeks this lower truss will be all like this one, delicious. And so it's just a case of going around, helps to, as I say, get more air around them and stops those humid conditions, which is what we need with them. So I'm going to work my way around the plants. The other thing is side shoots, and regularly Jill and I have been taking the side shoots off in the leaf joints, you can see there, but I've noticed on this last plant just here, if we look down at the base, I don't know whether Jill can get in it, there's not a lot of room in here, but down at the base there's a big side shoot just suddenly started to grow. So I'm just going to see if that will pull off, and if it doesn't, I'm just going to get my knife. I don't want to cause any damage, and I'm just going to put my knife in and just slice that off. We don't need that, that is just growing from a bud below, so that's rubbish and we can take those off. trace it up, it's all fine, all the side shoots have gone, but as I get nearer to the top, there's a few that we've missed, and you can get into just here. I don't know whether Jill can get in with the camera. There's the main stem, here's the leaf, and these are the side shoots that grow in between. And again, it's a finger and a thumb job. Just snap them out like that. They come away nice and cleanly. I've spotted another one. I don't know who's missed this one, whether it's me or Jill. And that one out there. And then a big one. Look at that one there. That shouldn't be there like that. Just snap that one out. So these are all out. So that means we've now got a clear stem. And finally, what I'm going to do with this plant in here is reach the ceiling. And what I don't like is green tomato chutney. I want all the tomatoes on these plants to fully develop and ripen by mid-October when the weather cools down. And if we let them carry on growing, they will just get big, they will shade the greenhouse, and these top trusses here that are flowering now won't have time to develop and ripen. So usually end of July, early August, I use my knife and I cut. This is going to be the last truss here, one leaf above it, cut the stem off. So I'm stopping, taking the tops out of the tomatoes. So then all the energy will go into the fruits lower down, 5 or 6 trusses. And by doing that, you can more or less guarantee that everything will ripen by the autumn time. Excuse me. And finally, just before we pop out, because we've got a few outside, I always hang these sticky traps. These are yellow sticky traps because sometimes aphids and whitefly can be a problem in late summer. I don't want to spray any chemicals on these, so I've made sure that I've hung a fresh one of those up, so if any aphids do come in here to have a little feed on them, they will be attracted to that and stick to that. Oh, and I've spotted just one more thing looking up there. If I just take off this fruit here, in fact there's quite a few of them on this truss, that small tomatoes, but you can see there they've developed that brown base to them, and that is known as blossom end rot. It's because that's where the flower was. That's not a disease. If you get that, don't worry that it's a fungal disease. It's not. It's actually caused by a lack of calcium, a calcium deficiency, which in turn is caused by lack of water taking the calcium up the plant. Now, all the lower fruits are perfectly okay. It's just these little ones that have formed right at the top. These will have only have developed in the last couple of weeks. So again, I'm putting this down not to the fact that it's not had the water or the calcium. It's more likely the heat stress that we've had in here when it was really hot. So unfortunately there's nothing we can do about it. That will just get bigger and bigger. You can still eat the top part of the fruit, but the base will go leathery like that. So if you do get that, that's what it is. Blossom end rot, plenty of water, plenty of high potash feed. So let's just pop outside, because the other 2 tomatoes that normally stand there, I've had to take them out, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to get in to talk to you. I'm just going to grab my watering can while I'm doing it. And we've got these just here. And these are again growing in pots, slightly differently. This one here is in a self-watering pot. If I just twist it round, fruits are developing nicely on there. It comes in a tomato pot with a framework, but I put another cane in for just a little bit of additional support. But in the base there is a reservoir of water. So you can water through the top with feed, and then you can keep that little reservoir topped up. So that means the roots can suck that moisture up. So again, perfect if you are going to be away for a few days and can't water them. And the other thing that I do is grow them in these big plastic pots like this. So this is just the sort of pot you would buy a shrub or a tree, and it's a 10-litre pot. Exactly the same. I've just grown them to the cane, and what I'm going to do with these also is once again take out the top there. I don't want it to get any taller, so this is my last truss, 1 or 2 leaves after, just so they draw the water and the feed up, and I'll put another piece of string on there to tie that to it. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trusses that will ripen, and a side shoot that just needs taking off there. So these are in a pot, and what I do just to keep them moist when I've watered them, and this is a high potash tomato feed that I give once a week. I can water them through the top like that, and then any surplus water will drain through into the saucer, and it will drink that up then later on in the day. And indeed, if it's a really hot day and you're going to be out, then there's absolutely no harm in putting just not a huge amount, but maybe just an inch of water in there, so that again through the day they will suck that up. But what you must never do is leave them standing in water permanently. Outdoor tomatoes, because these are indoors that I brought out to show you, you don't have to grow the tall ones. You can grow them like this. This is one called Tumbling Tom, and Tumbling Tom is a cherry tomato. You can get them in yellow, orange and red. This one doesn't need any picking out of side shoots or stopping or anything. It naturally grows and trails as a trailing bush. So this is a 12-inch hanging pot, again a self-watering pot, so we can add water and feed there, and you just plant it and leave it, and outside on a sunny wall or a fence like this, these will do really well. And the fruits on these are absolutely delicious. They're not big, that's about the maximum size that you get them, and once they're ripe they are delicious. So we've been eating these now for a couple of weeks in salads. So there you go, grow your tomatoes, enjoy them. The best is yet to come, but water, feed, take out side shoots, take the growing tips out of the tall ones, and then just sit back and wait for these delicious fruits. That is so sweet. Thank you for watching Pots and Trowels, and thank you for all your likes and shares, for telling all your friends about us. We want to get as many people gardening as we can. Next week we're going to be looking at plants in containers and giving them a bit of summer care. So we'll see you then. Bye.